Welcome to Potato Soup. I'm Superintendent Larry Davis, and today we're going to be talking about school safety. My guest is Emery County Sheriff Greg Funk, who over the years has been instrumental in generating a cooperative relationship between the school district and the Sheriff's Office. We certainly appreciate that. So welcome, Sheriff.
Thank you, Superintendent.
We have a few questions for you about school safety. So to get started, we are into the new school year, about 7 weeks now, but it's never too late to talk about school safety. With school in session, there's an upswing in traffic around our schools and on our collection routes. With respect to this, what does the public need to know about school zones, about driving around school buses, and general safety around our kids, and also what do the kids need to know?
Okay, I actually appreciate that question. Around the school buses, we've actually had a couple of complaints already this year.
Wow.
Where people have ran through the red lights on the schools or on the school buses, and that is something extremely serious. We take it extremely serious, and we were actually able to track down both of the parties that were involved in that because of the bus drivers paying attention and getting us good information so we could get them and get them solved.
Good.
But what the public has to understand is when them amber lights go on those buses, it is the exact same. You can still proceed through, but it is considered a school zone, so that means 20 miles an hour. So that don't mean mash it like you're trying to go through a red or a yellow light. I mean, slow it down, and if you can be down at 20 and still go through safely, go through, but otherwise be prepared to stop. The very first offense on running a school, it's $100 on a school bus, and then the second one is $200, and the third is $500, and then any ones that follow after that will be $500 each.
What do drivers need to know about flashing red lights and the extended stop sign from the bus?
They have to stop.
No 20 mile an hour
Nope,
past the bus.
Nope, you are
Stop means stop.
Stop means stop in those situations.
Okay.
When them red lights are on, you have to stop.
You can imagine how dangerous that is with kids getting on and off the bus and crossing
around
in front of the bus.
Yeah, the kids aren't going to be able to see the other direction. They usually come out and around the front, and so if someone's coming through or going around and passing,
Right.
heaven forbid, and run over the kids. So we don't want anyone have to live with that, let alone the parents and the child have to go through that.
Okay, that's excellent advice. Let's talk about safe schools in a broader sense. Our schools have emergency plans. All of our schools hold safety weeks, and they conduct multiple drills throughout the school year. Right now our focus is on reunification, which simply means reuniting our children with their parents after an emergency situation at school. Obviously, any emergency at school is going to involve first responders. So please take a minute and discuss the role of the Emery County Sheriff's Office in safe schools and emergency preparedness.
So we actually appreciate what the superintendent done, the whole school district here. I actually feel that Emery County is above and beyond where the state is. I think they're kind of that beacon out there where everyone is trying to emulate.
Yeah.
And right now, we've been very involved with the schools for a number of years, involved in all of the scenarios. We've gone from active shooter to the evacuations, all of that. And I love the idea of the reunification because it's honestly scared me to death.
Yeah.
I've thought about it prior, and we just done our first one here a little bit ago. Yeah, there was some hiccups with it. We've learned a lot, and we're going to continue to learn a lot, and hopefully we never have to utilize it. But
But being prepared is the important thing.
Yeah, and if we do, it'll be a lot smoother than dealing with all these hiccups that we're dealing with right now. So.
Right. Reunification drills are really quite complicated because they do involve every student, every parent, and reuniting those kids with their parents. And and getting them from school to home. It has to be practice. Every school has their unique nuances, exit points and gathering points. The drill that the sheriff referenced was at Book Cliff Elementary, it was at Cottonwood Elementary, and it involved numerous law enforcement personnel. I was very impressed with the number of law enforcement people on site for that drill, and as the sheriff said, we learned a lot from that. That's taking place throughout the school district, and throughout the year, drills of all other types of emergencies will be taking place, just to be prepared. So let's talk about vaping for a minute. It has become a serious problem, and we don't know a little bit about it, except people are getting sick and people are dying. But it seems to have captured the interest of a lot of kids. A lot of teenagers are vaping. Utah has been rated or ranked as the 13th highest use of vaping in our country, and that's of great concern. So please tell us how the Sheriff's Department handles incidents of vaping, what the law tells us that we can do to deal with this, and maybe a little bit about what you would like to see enacted now that we know of the seriousness of this, that might help with law enforcement and help kids better understand the seriousness of this problem.
Okay, I appreciate that. So currently, we're behind the 8 ball on the legislative side of it. The way we're treating all the vaping cases with the juveniles is actually treating them as cigarettes versus having an actual category to deal with them right now. It would be nice that in this next legislative year if they gave us some more tools to handle it. But currently, like the superintendent was saying, on the tobacco, so if it is actually at the school, we have to refer it to the school to handle it versus us to be able to take an action on it there. It would be nice in this next legislative year if they give us some more tools where we can actually start helping and focusing on this growing problem. I mean, you look at how vaping, it was basically, I look at it and they went after the kids. They have all these fruity flavors, all this sweet stuff, and it's really targeting the kids. I know we've had a few incidences with it, and we're in the process of bringing in some vape detectors along with the school district and the health department and Four Corners. So we're trying to get a handle on it before it becomes a real issue here in our county.
Well, on the educational side of the vaping concern, we will be educating our students about the hazards of this and the legal side of it as well, that there are consequences when you break the law. But more importantly, starting at an early age in our elementary schools, providing educational programs that will teach students the harmful effects of vaping, just like we do relevant to the harmful effects of tobacco and also drug abuse. So I think we'll see some help, but we're not waiting for new laws to be enacted. We're getting a handle, we're getting ahead of the problem now here in the school district, and we appreciate the support of the sheriff's office and the judicial system in helping us with that. They are limited, as the sheriff said, in what they can do, simply because we saw some significant changes in the juvenile justice system in recent years. The last question that I have for you, Sheriff, deals with the law enforcement program at Emory High that we enacted a few years ago. I was still principal there at the time, and it's become very popular with kids. We've had to expand the course offerings with law enforcement. And I know when you and I set it up to begin with that one of the objectives was to get kids interested in law enforcement as a career, and hopefully those kids would go through post-training and want to come back and work in Emery County and work for the Emery County Sheriff's Department. So what benefits or what dividends has this high school program paid off for the Emery County Sheriff's Department?
So currently we have yet to hire anyone that has gone through that. We're actually, this following year will be the first year when we'll have some of those ones eligible
We're
at
getting
that,
close then.
at that age where they could actually come and go to work for us.
Yeah.
I am seeing actually an uptick in applicants to the sheriff's office. And
Very good.
this last 6 months we've had a phenomenal increase in interest, and like I say, none of the ones that have actually applied have actually been through this program, but they will actually this following year reach that. I have high hopes for it, like the superintendent is saying, that we've actually had a huge increase in the number of students taking it. I know they're enjoying it. My boy, he's enjoyed it,
Yeah.
and I've got a couple of nieces that have taken it, so we're thrilled over it and thrilled over the success of it.
You know, whether or not these kids that go through the law enforcement program at the high school actually end up going into law enforcement as a career, the benefits are still enormous because they're learning from a different perspective about enforcing the laws in our state and national laws, and it even trickles down to school policy. They understand where authority is coming from. They understand the necessity for having rules and order in our society in order for things to work and to provide them opportunity, and hopefully enlighten them as they move into adulthood and have children of their own and really understand the value of law-abiding citizen and society. So we appreciate that program a lot.
And that's what we hope for too. At a minimum, we end up with good citizens out of this. So
Yes.
we appreciate you guys' support in allowing us in there to do this class.
Well, thank you. So in conclusion, we're so fortunate to have the dedicated and highly skilled law enforcement and first responders that we have in our area. Beyond the badge, you'll find people who care about their communities and the people who live and work here, as well as those who come to visit. So thanks to my guest, Sheriff Greg Funk, and I'll see you all on the next episode of Potato Soup. And remember, every day in the Emery School District has the potential to be a pretty great day. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you.